Hey all, welcome to part 2 of our summer book club, where we're continuing to read through the 5 Essentials to Real Health, the newest book by Max Living. For those that have already really dug into this, I hope you're enjoying it. Like I said on our last recording, up to this point, we have over 300 people actively in the summer book club in just over 2 weeks, which is pretty cool to see just how many people are actively interested in investing in their health, knowing more, and really making better decisions for the long-term outcomes for those they love. Because ultimately, I mean, that's why we do these things. It's to be in better health for either things that we want to enjoy or for the people we love and care about, to be the fun parent, grandparent, to be able to swing a golf club, to be able to run, exercise, be fit, sleep well, not develop disease, whatever it might be. And so the next couple of chapters, looking at chapters 4 and 5 specifically, chapter 4 is what is health? And while it's only covered in just a couple of pages, it is something that I would encourage you to think about through the filter that you look at life through. But one of the ways that I've had it explained to me is health is right in the word. It's your body's ability to heal. So what is your capacity to heal from anything, from an infection, from something you come in contact with, from a cut on your arm, from a disease that your body has developed, from an injury, from a sport or a fall or a car accident? Ultimately, your health is defined by your body's ability to heal. And those that are less able to heal are either going to be slower healers or are not going to be able to fully heal. And so, one example that's given in the chapter is when someone develops, for example, type 2 diabetes. Now, I always want to put a disclaimer on this, that this is not only my opinion, but I'm reading out of a book. And there are certain cases where there are genetic anomalies or there are certain things that are out of control. But for instance, with type 2 diabetes, put down to its simplest form, it's called insulin-resistant diabetes. So essentially, for the majority of people that are have developed type 2 diabetes, their body's lost its ability to heal or to adapt from the amount of carbohydrates or sugar that's being put into it to then develop or make the amount of insulin that is required to take that sugar or that carbohydrate and transfer it into your cells for energy. And so when it becomes insulin resistant, it's because the cells essentially have been given too much sugar and the body doesn't need to or isn't able to burn enough for fuel. So for instance, if you are somebody who runs 3 miles a day or runs marathons or exercises a lot, you actually possibly need more sugar or more carbohydrates, specifically for fuel, for repair, for recovery. But for somebody that's less active, maybe you have an office job or you have an injury, so you're not, if you follow the standard American diet, which has, bread, carbs, refined foods in just about everything, eventually your body's going to say, hey, we don't need this much sugar. We don't need this much carbohydrate. And so what happens is it starts to develop insulin resistance. And so then what happens from that is the amount of sugar that you consume, your body doesn't accept it into the cell, so it can sit in your bloodstream, can start to cause damage to a whole variety of different parts. This is where you see diabetic neuropathies. This is where you can see different things. But essentially, if you can't absorb that, and then what your body does is it produces more and more insulin to try and push that sugar in. And so without going too much into it, ultimately, to be healthy, something has to change. Now, certain people, whether it's genetically or because they are able to adapt more, they can consume bread or carbs all day, every day, and never develop diabetes. Other people lose that ability to heal, and they, for whatever reason, can't find the root cause of it. And so they eventually develop this condition, which is really an inability for your body to adapt. And the good part is, for many of those people, if they make changes and if they look at how can they help their body heal better, they can reverse this condition. But essentially, what is health? Health is your body's ability to heal. Chapter 5, the nerve system, the master control system of the body. Essentially, for any function of your body to work, neurologically, your brain has to tell it what to do by sending a message from your brain down your spinal cord and out your nerves to every cell, tissue, and organ in your body. Now, I've had people say, well, how in the heck can an adjustment help your immune system? How in the heck can it help a headache or a migraine? How can it affect allergies, vertigo, whatever it might be? And so I'm just going to go through a few of these, but ultimately, if you think about it, your immune system is controlled by your nerve system. One part of your immune system is your lymphatic system, which again is controlled by your nerve system. So when your body comes in contact with a bacteria or virus or something that could make you sick, your body's adaptability, so whether those are immunoglobulins or antibodies or white blood cells or natural killer cells or any of the different parts of the immune system, when they first recognize it, the earlier they recognize it, the quicker they can kill it. Kind of like, a bug infestation. If you kill the first few ants that get in your house and block up the hole in the door or the wall or whatever where they're getting in, you don't really have much of an ant infestation. But if you're gone for a month on vacation and nobody knows that the ants are getting in, you could come home to every room in your house being covered in ants, eating all the food. It's a true infestation, which is very similar to the way that your body responds to infection. It's also how your body responds to something like cancer. And so the better and more high functioning your immune system, the more or nerve system, the more it stimulates your immune system, which therefore leads to better overall immune function. Now, on a similar note, if you were talking about allergies, your body, essentially, in the simplest form, allergies are your body becoming hypersensitive to something that's naturally occurring, whether it's a food, dust, animal particle, outdoor allergen, whatever. And so in some cases, if you calm your neurology, so unpinch the nerve, decrease the stress on the body, your body will not react as intensely to the allergen that you're exposed to. And many people, and many of you have heard this story, but my wife, when she first started getting adjusted, she was no longer allergic to Christmas trees. She spent her entire life severely allergic to Christmas trees, couldn't even be in a house where the Christmas tree, if somebody had a live tree in their house. And now we have not one, but most years we have 2 Christmas trees because it's just been a switch that we have them for, 2 months a year or whatever it is. But your nerve system controls that. And in fact, without going too much into it, one of the reasons that more people are developing allergies in our current environment is a combination of what's called on the medical side preventative medicine, with immunology and injectables, and also just other heavy metal exposure, because what heavy metals do is they actually heighten or make your nerve system hypersensitive, which can make you more prone to developing allergies. This is also possibly why adult onset allergies are more common. And then we could even take it to the simpler form, which is headaches. So if you have neurologic inflammation, you could cause an imbalance of blood vessel opening and closing, for instance, up here in the back of your head, which could cause, different things like triggers for migraines. You could affect hormone production. You can, of course, cause tension for like tension headaches, cluster headaches. But if you pinch the nerve, it tightens the muscle, it pulls on the back of your scalp, and then eventually you get a headache. Clearing the nerve system can help headaches go away, minimize them, or completely alleviate them, depending on the severity of your injury and the ability to correct it. So the nerve system is the master control system. In the next chapter, as you probably read, it talks about how to structurally help protect and align your nerve system at a higher level. And then we'll be transitioning into food and the like. So hope you're enjoying the book. Really appreciate all of you that are investing in your health, and hope you have a very blessed